As organizations leverage cloud services for productivity and data storage, the ability to monitor, track, and enforce policy on user and data activity is essential to maintaining data integrity and confidentiality. Forcepoint's cloud data protection solution enables organizations to securely adopt cloud services without exposing sensitive data. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate multiple scenarios around Office 365 applications and data protection. Forcepoint's cloud data protection solution goes far beyond data protection, but for the purposes of today's video, I will focus on some of its data protection capabilities. In this first scenario, let's say that I'm an employee working on a white paper about a DoD project that I am involved in. Some of the project information is very sensitive, so I have to be careful about what information I put into this paper. I'm in a little bit of a time crunch, so I'm going to copy some of the project information straight out of our working papers and paste it into my white paper. For the purposes of this demonstration, I have already taken a fingerprint of the 9/11 Commission Report. I'm going to use the 9/11 Commission Report as my working papers. But what I'm going to do here is simply copy 6 or 7 paragraphs of the 9/11 Commission Report. And for those of you that are familiar with it, you'll know that the 9/11 Commission Report is a very lengthy document. I believe it's over 1,000 pages in length. So I've copied about 6 or 7 paragraphs, and I'm going to paste that content into my example white paper. And as the Word document attempts to autosave into Office 365, Forcepoint's cloud data protection solution is going to inspect the content and identify that some of the content matches the fingerprint that I took of the 9/11 Commission Report. And within that policy, I've specifically stated for any transactions containing such information to block it from being saved to the cloud or leaving the organization. So while the user did not use the entire contents of the working papers, meaning he did not copy the entire 9/11 Commission Report, Forcepoint's fingerprinting technology is looking for content similarity to prevent even small amounts of sensitive content from being mistakenly or maliciously exposed. In this second scenario, I'm going to use the previous example again, but simply add the name of the project to the document, which has actually been deemed classified by my organization. So for the purposes of this demonstration, the dirty word or the project name that I use is Hercules Dynamite. And as the document saves, again, Forcepoint's cloud data protection solution is going to identify that that keyword triggers a DLP policy and the transaction is going to be blocked. I'm going to back up one more. And just as another example, I'm going to add a classification label. I'll just put no foreign here. And again, there's a DLP policy in place, and the Forcepoint Cloud Data Protection solution will block that transaction because it contains a classification marking outside of what the organization permits relative to saving information to the cloud. In this next scenario, I'm going to be working in the Office 365 Outlook client. And what I'm going to do here is attempt to attach some files containing sensitive content to an email. So I'm just going to enter a bogus email address here, bogus subject. And what I really want to get to is attaching a file that has sensitive content. So the first file I'm going to attach is this dirty word image file. And as it loads, Forcepoint's Cloud Data Protection solution is going to take that image file and inspect it. Specifically, Forcepoint's optical character recognition, or OCR technology, is going to extract the text from that image and identify the sensitive content contained within that file and block the transaction. Now, I know it was a little bit small when I attached it, so what I'm going to do is actually open up the file, and you'll see that it's a page long of content that I've taken a screenshot of, and then I inserted my dirty word here. So Hercules Dynamite right in the middle of this snapshot document containing many other words. As a second example, I'm just going to attach a Word document with my dirty word. That's the file. And my document is Project HD, Project Hercules Dynamite. And as a file is attempting to attach the email, Forcepoint is going to detect the sensitive content and block that from occurring. In this last scenario, let's say that I'm a user that is working from home on an unmanaged or personal device. This is a very common scenario and is becoming more and more common. I don't have my work laptop with me, but the work files that I need to access, I actually saved in my work OneDrive account before I left work last night. So hopefully I should be able to access those files and continue on with the project I'm working on. So the first file I need to download for my presentation is my dirty word image file, which I just actually showed everyone about a minute ago. So I'm going to attempt to download that file from OneDrive, and then I'll insert it into my PowerPoint presentation once I get that file. Well, what the user didn't know is that the organization has a policy around sensitive content from being downloaded to unmanaged devices. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the scenario, I was working from home. I didn't have my work laptop, but I was working from my personal laptop. And in this case, it would be an unmanaged device. So the organization has no control over that device. And the policy in place is to detect that I was on an unmanaged device and then prevent me from downloading any sensitive content from my work OneDrive account. Another example here, and once I get back into OneDrive, is I've taken a sensitive file that has my dirty word, Hercules Dynamite, and I've placed it about 50 levels deep in this zip file. And I'm going to attempt to download that as a part of my work project today. So I've selected the file, I've clicked download. At this point, Forcepoint's Cloud Data Protection Solution is going to extract the file from that transaction, inspect it, identify the sensitive content, and block me from downloading it because I'm on an unmanaged device. That concludes the demonstration today. If you would like a more in-depth product demonstration, please reach out to the Forcepoint G2CI inside sales team to set that up. Thank you.